So welcome to the Late Night Garage with Nick. I'm hoping that we're streaming right now. I'm going to check in a second, but tonight we've had a little bit of hiccups with the cameras, but I had to factory reset the camera that I'm staring into right now. And with the factory resetting it back to the firmware, I was trying to run off the beta firmware from GoPro Labs. And the camera that I have with top down is running on the GoPro Labs beta firmware, whereas the camera, I had a hiccup with it getting connected, and I couldn't get it connected, I couldn't get it to sync, it wouldn't start streaming properly. And so I'm kind of working through some of those instances where there's a little bit of delay in getting the camera up set for live streaming and then going direct into the live stream. So it's been pretty good. It's been very, very good learning curve, steep learning curve, but good in making sure that everything that I have up to this point is functional, operational, and will work for future iterations with no more hiccups, I hope. But yeah, once again, welcome to Late Night Garage with Dick, and we're going to start working on the Dremel Workstation. So pulling up the old Dremel Workstation. I've had this for quite a few years, and I've used it quite a few times on projects. But with the Dremel Workstation, my ultimate goal is to take a soldering iron, and there's a couple specific models of soldering iron that we're looking at, and then using this to create a heat set press for the upcoming Voron Switchwire builds. And so I'm really excited to kind of get this one up and running, because it's going to help the build for the Voron kit exponentially. And so without further ado, we'll get right into it. So the Dremel Workstation I have, this is the Model 220. And the reason why I do it is just because of that feature right there, that pressing feature with the arm. Then I can make sure that I have direct top-down pressure on the heat sets as I press them into the ABS plastic for the Voron build, with not penetrating it too far into the ABS material that's being used, but at the same time making sure that I have good downward direct pressure so those heat sets aren't going in at a slight cant. You can do it by hand, but I want to kind of professionalize it a little bit and then really work on getting it set with a actual press for it. And so yeah, I'm excited. This one is a little bit dirty, so we'll work a little bit of cleanup. And after we get done with cleanup, we'll go into taking off the Dremel attachment assembly, and then we 3D printed out some attachments in ABS plastic that I have down here. I printed two different types just to see which one I like better. One of which is a direct thread in unit, where I could literally set it in here, heat press in the mounts, lock it down, and just attach to this Dremel mounting bracket. But I didn't necessarily want to have that heat around here. So the design that I'm kind of opting for is this one, where it's going to replace the entire carriage underneath. So we're going to pop those off, pop the unit out, and reset it with this unit. That way it's just strict ABS plastic that I know will be able to hold the temperatures of the soldering iron. So the soldering iron that I'm going to be using for this build, and it may look familiar to most of you guys that are out there that are doing this. I don't know the manufacturer of it. It came with a kit that I got from my days in the Marine Corps with building momentum. But this is the one that I see is kind of like standard, with an adjustable dial as it relates to temperature. So it should set right in the mount. That way I have that kind of like go-to necessity without having a lot of the heat on that ABS plastic that's for the mount itself. Once that's set, I should be able to work that pressing to get that down in there. And of course I can adjust the height based off the backside if I need to adjust the height at all for when I'm getting these heat sets, because some of the parts and components, they are of varying heights, and I just want to make sure that I have that good pressure point so that I can make sure that I have the heat set into it but not over penetrating. And so yeah, without further ado, we're kind of get into the build. So it is a little dirty, but we're just going to take a paintbrush and clean it up. Yeah, my garage up until the point where I renovated it was really kind of dirty. I'm sure most of the garages that are out there are in kind of the same state, especially if you're looking at it from a workshop perspective. But, I mean, do I need to clean this? No, but it's been sitting for quite a while, and I kind of need to. I mean, do I need to do this? No. But, you know, why not clean it up a little bit before we get into it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release the actual, like, working arm from the base. And that's just a bolt that we got on the back with a nut that drives it. Make sure it holds in place once that's done. And all that's doing is that's just putting in pressure on the actual tool head itself. So from here, we're going to go ahead and remove those two nuts. See what sizes we're working with. So that bottom one's going to be a 13. And that top one's going to... 11 fits a little loose on it. And a 10. That off. All right, so I think what I need to do is now I'm going to loosen up that screw right there and that screw right there so I can pull the guide post out. And then I'm going to loosen the stop guide off. Let's see, I'm going to take my toolkit out of a job the other day, so it's down here. To be honest, I probably could just leave this on, seeing that it did disconnect from here. Because I think this is going to thread right into our attachment. And so if I look at the orientation, I've got these matching up, where I've got the two notch screws, notch 1, notch 2. And it has those other notches that are in there, so it can be a direct fit replacement. So I guess I could just drop this guy in. like so. I'll get that pushed up to the top so it's flush. So I guess you don't need to take those two screws out unless you really want to. We're not going to worry about it right now, so I'm going to tighten those back down. That washer, the nut. Seems good. Now for this, you may have to go back and look at the website right quick just to make sure that if it does require heat sets, and if I have any spare to drop them in there. Because it's funny. I'm like building a heat set press, but I first have to set heat sets into this. This is what it looks like. I'll take a look at the bill of materials on it too. I'm just kind of winging it for tonight. So for here, I need to make sure that that lines back up. And so when I pull that nut out, I change the alignment. And so I need to make sure that as I depress the lever, that I still have actuation of it. So I'm going to take the guide. Line it up on top, and again, I moved it and I'm holding pressure on it, that way it stays flush mounted. I'm going to take another bolt, drop that back in. Bit into it right now. Yeah, I'm not bit into it. And so let's try that again. This has a little bit more room this time. Alright, we threaded it in that time, so we're good. Now that we have the base of it set, All right, so we're gonna try. I'm running the audio on the other camera, so getting the stream back up. Trying to bring the other one back in now. So my top-down camera looks like it may be locked up, but it doesn't look like it's locked up. I'm gonna stop. Standard linear, not in sequence, and so top-down camera, we'll get the top-down camera back in. Send that one to sleep. So it should have gone to sleep. It is now asleep. Now we can get back in. Connect that one back up. And it's not letting me stream the top down for some reason. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually working in Live Streamer for Heroes. You can see I've got this one's connected. It's been back up and running for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But I'm not able to get the other one. Reflash the firmware. Kind of like what I talked about at the beginning is reflashing the firmware off. So I'm running into a couple issues that I've noticed so far, and hopefully it's probably running the sequence of the software. I think once I get my other GoPro up and running back in here, so I'm going to grab the SD card for my second GoPro, drop it into a caddy. They're not going. My USB drive, create a folder, new folder. This is going to be called update, all caps. Go to my downloads, go into update. This is the factory firmware. It was the factory firmware, so I need to open a window right quick. That's me. Let's see. GoPro Hero 11 firmware. GoPro Hero 11 Black, latest firmware, March 2024. Update the camera manually through Windows. Download the update. Open that folder back up. Got a mosquito flying around my head. So update 1, there's the update data. I'm just going to cut those out of there. Probably just copy them out of here, honestly. Once I copy them out, go back down to my F drive, which is the SD card, go to the update folder, and I'm going to paste those in there. Now I'm going to go grab a GoPro battery. One that's not cooking. Once that folder's set on here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eject the mass storage device. Now I'm going to drop that SD card back into the camera. Grab a battery. And we're going to fire the camera up and let it run through its update cycle. And so how we know it's going to go straight to the gear icon, it's going to restart a couple different times as it's flashing the firmware. And once the camera's done, it'll say update success. And it's going to restart once or twice. It may be that I just need to upgrade my network. My network might be a little lagging for this at the same time, but hey, it's a good learning curve for my entire process to get this up and running. So there we go. There's update complete. Now it should shut off, and then we can restart the camera. So one of my dogs coming down the stairs. So once we're back in, I'm going to have to go back through and adjust all the settings. I'm going to turn off my motion control. I'm going to reset it because it goes back to standard 5K. So I'm going to adjust it back to a 1080, 30 frames per second. Turn off the auto shut off. sure Hyper Smooth is turned off. I want it in linear mode. Now once that's set, I should be able to take the camera. I'm going to power it off one more time. Drop it back into the media mod. Lock the media mod down. And what's interesting, when it ran the update, it didn't factory reset the camera, so I'm kind of curious to see what will happen. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to format the memory card or the SD card, because I don't want to keep those files for the update on there. Let's see. Going through the menus. Turn off. Default link. Last video used. LEDs all on. Pro controls. Wireless connections, voice control. Where is the reset? Format SD card format. Once the SD card is formatted, and it's like we're not even really using the SD card right now. We're more so using it just as a streaming vessel. I got the SD card in there, but we're having all these things captured by YouTube, and then using YouTube as the default mechanism. So here, cancel. I'm going to remount the camera. I hope these mounts hold up. They're just 3D printed in PLA with carbon fiber. I hope the temperature this camera gets to is not causing detriment. Alright, now we're going to reconnect it to power. And we're going to go ahead and get the GoPro reconnected, resynced, and then hopefully the live stream we can kick back in. So, come over here to my live stream mod. We're going to connect to the GoPro top down. Looks like it's still connecting. We're back to idle status. Start the live stream mode. And then if anybody has any suggestions, it's like I picked up this live streamer for Heroes version 1.2.0 because you gave me a starting point. But if there's anybody out there that has like a suggestion for like multi GoPro control for live streaming, that'd be great. So there it is. There's the same error with connection timeout. So we're going to restart live stream. It should get past that error now and then kick right over to ready. There we go, we're ready. Now we should be able to hit stream. And it did not start. It is still sitting idle. We don't want it to sit idle, but if I go over to the camera the camera should say that it is now pumping the feed, and the camera does state that it is pumping the feed. It is now 15 seconds into the feed, but it's not being picked up by the RTMP server. So we're gonna stop that, power the unit down, and I might have to do a factory reset on the firmware. It's been reloaded back to the latest GoPro firmware, but not factory resetted and then reset up with GoPro quick and then re-add it in as a Bluetooth device. So I'm going to try one more time. We're going to connect to the unit. Connected idle. I'm going to start the live stream. Start configuring. We should get the timeout error. Connection timeout. Restart it. Now we're ready. I should be able to hit the stream button. And we went back to idle. So, yeah, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to work a factory reset of the settings and get it re-established. So we're going to stop the stream, go down, over preferences, scroll to reset, and we're going to factory reset. I'm going to reset the unit. And so this is where I'm going to need my phone. So I can jump back into the GoPro Quick app to get the camera re-established. And so there we go. It's factory reset. We're on English. Agree to the terms. Location GPS services are off. I need to get my phone. Need my phone. My phone is inside. All right. All right, so what we're going to do now is, now that we're factory set, I'm jumping on my phone to the GoPro Quick app. I'm going to re-add the camera, get the camera set up. I'm going to remove GoPro top down. So I'm going to remove GoPro top down from the original one. Now I'm going to re-add a new camera. So it's GoPro 1357. Don't care about accessing my contacts because it doesn't need to. I'm going to connect to the unit. And so maybe for live streaming, GoPro isn't the best option, but it's a really cost-effective option that I found because I picked the cameras up from Costco. And it seems to have worked for me, you know, so far with a couple of hiccups, which are trying different firmware types based off a couple of videos that I saw, and I'm working through it. But we're going to change that a little bit. And so let's see, continue. I have the GoPro Quick app. The GoPro Quick app is not. To connect to your GoPro, GoPro here a little black. Connect. GoPro 1537 pair. We got the pairing notification that time. And I got the notification on my watch. And so I'm going to go ahead and rename it back to GoPro top down, because that's my top down camera. And I'm going to connect it to my local network. And I'm a big laser fan, so it's like my network is called Pew Pew. Connecting it to the network. Now we're going to go back through and we're going to start looking at camera settings. So I'm going to adjust them all again. So we're going to go back to linear with no horizon lock. Maybe horizon lock would be kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that would work. I rotate it. Yeah, horizon lock actually might work better. Neither here nor there. So we're going to go to horizon lock. I'm going to change it to the GoPro easy controls to the pro controls. Turn off quick capture. Preferences. Now we're going to connect it to the computer. All done. Okay, here 11 black is ready on the phone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Go to my Bluetooth settings. I'm going to go and remove GoPro 1537. And we're going to, on the camera, I'm going to go back into wireless connections. I'm going to go to connect device. And I'm going to select the GoPro Quick app because now it's broadcasting on Bluetooth. I'm going to add a device, Bluetooth device, GoPro 1537. We're going to connect it. Done. Now I'm going to pull open and go back over here. Since we have it set up, I'm going to remove the GoPro top down. I'm going to add a camera. I'm going to go down until I see 1357. And I have two of them being broadcast right now. So I'm going to select the first one and see if I can get a feed on it. And so from here, I'm going to see if I can connect to the device. Okay, so we were able to connect to the device, which is good. Now I'm going to put my RTMP server in, so I'm just literally going to copy and paste these. Default Wi-Fi. This is going to be GoPro top down. Default Wi-Fi is fine. There's 1080p, and we're going to go linear. Pair the camera, put our RTMP, and change it over to live 2 because we got live 1 and then live 2. So I gotta change this and go Pro top down. Always make sure you click the save button. Go from top down. Live 2, RTP, save, repaired. See if we can get it to connect. Well, we are connected, but see if we can get the live mode established. And so that's connecting it to the network. Once it says that it's ready, hear the beep. It is now in live mode. I should be able to go to stream. And there we go. Now we should be able to go from here back to OBS Studio, and you can see it's like it's looking at the rest of my garage right now. So we're going to kick this back over here to the top down, plug it back into power, and a quick down and dirty troubleshooting, resetting of the factory settings for the camera, resyncing it back to the phone, and getting our top-down camera back into operation. So now we're going to get back into the build. So I'm going to pull up the instructions for this specific model that we pulled down. And I think it was from Principles. Let's see. Income storage. Move that window up so I can monitor, make sure it's not going to crash out on us again. And so so heatside press, Dremel heatside press adapter. Let's see if this is the correct one. So that is not the correct one. So let's go to search. Yep, there it is. All right, so we're going to need two M3 heat inserts, diameter 4.6. 5mm might also fit in two-piece M3 by 12 or M3 by 14 Allen bolts. So, no clue what I have for spare heat sets. One of my miscellaneous parts bags. I'm going to look for heat sets and presses, and I may not have some. That's a really tall one. M3 by 12. Yay, parts. So M3. Oh, there's an M3 by 10 right there. Looks like we had two. M3 by 10. Now do these thread into here though? And no, they do not. Actually, they might. Got another spare heat set. Nope. So the reason that one's biting in is because it's got a bunch of ABS already in it. So let me go find a kit real quick. So 3 by 10, 3 by 10. Got two of those guys. See what else I have for heat sets. I got 2 of these, and so this is from the actual conversion kit, and I'm really happy with how they packaged this. So we're going to take a look. M3 by 20, M3 by 16, M3 by 10, M3 brass heat set inserts, 120 pieces. So I'll pull 2 of these guys out. So 120 pieces, we're down to 118 pieces. But this is for science, so I'm okay with it. Yep, that's good. And there's also good. So clean up the workstation very quick. Sorry, I've had a little bit of a cough as of late. Miscellaneous parts bag. Put that back in the drawer. Save that for later. All right. So now we're going to actually set this one aside. And we're going to drop these heat sets in here. Extension cords. Grab a sip. As you know, we're working late night. It is midnight 42 right now. So we're not too late yet. Yeah, my glorious extension cords here. We got out of our extension cord drawer, but these are honestly like extension cords I used during Christmas time, so I might have to source some new ones once we get into some further builds. Set this to 250C. Turn it on and let that warm up some. I know, it's super exciting. But hey, I'm excited. This is like a little bit of troubleshooting tonight, and then on to the third live stream. I haven't even checked to see if this is actually live right now. I mean, it says that on the studio control panel we're live. So I'm actually going to log in with my phone on YouTube and see if I can pull it up. Late night garage with, nope. Late night garage with Nick. And so it's crazy. It's a, I mean, let's see. Looking at it right now. Yeah, and it shows that I'm live, and so that's kind of cool. So I hope it captured all like the troubleshooting and everything that I was doing earlier, because I mean that'd be a good learning point for lots of people that are looking at setting up the same build. So yeah, we can see our own live feed on my phone. Pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm kind of new to this whole thing, so it's really interesting to get it, having no experience, to get it set up, to get it running, and to actually have it live streaming. So we got some temperature now, so we're going to go ahead and drop in these heat sets. I need to change the bit out, actually. Come on. That stuck way too much. Hopefully I don't have to print another one out. If I do, that's fine. Just grab the pliers. Quick. Try that again. Oh, Lordy. I don't trust myself not to get burned. You know. All right. Well, we got our 2 heat sets in, so we're going to go ahead and turn off the soldering iron. We're going to let that cool down before I attempt to touch it. All right, so now we have the mounting bracket with the heat set insert set in. Now we're going to wait for that soldering iron to cool down. We're going to get it mounted into its position, and then we're going to lock it into place. It's really weird looking behind me and seeing myself on the screen. I got to get used to it a little bit, because you know it's a new adventure for me, and I'm really excited to kind of showcase a lot of these things on the videos, and then hopefully build a little bit of a following, and then showcase a lot of stuff that we do over at Matter Hackers, and then some of the stuff that I'm working on, like building a nonprofit out to, you know, help schools that don't have enough musical equipment, actually 3D printing musical equipment to supplement some of the schools in the local area. So I'm really excited. And so we're still pretty warm. Let that keep cooling down for a little bit. But yeah, the conversion kit. Well, while we're getting into it, the conversion kit that I'm going with is going to be the one from Sabur, and this is going to be taking those Ender 3 Pros that I have sitting behind me. I picked up 2 of these kits, and with the 2 kits, I'm looking at making 2 Ender wires. So it's a Voron Switchwire that's mostly sourced from converting an Ender 3 Pro, and so the Ender 3 Pro, and I've got most everything sourced for it to include the kit, and then I'm looking at running the oh gosh, who was the manufacturer of them? The Pi boards. Oh gosh, I forget the manufacturer. The Pi boards. They came with the screen, they came with the interface adapters, USB adapters, and everything. And so the pie boards that I'm looking at running with the screen is the MKS pie, that's right. So it's the maker-based pie boards is what I'm looking at running with the upgraded control board for the Industry Pros with the 7 stepper motors. So again, really looking forward to it. And so while they had the soldering iron still kind of cooling down, for my garage setup, it's like you can see that I'm running a full hex wall behind me, and I've just 3D printed a bunch of like storage bins and accessories for it. I've got my computer, I've got a 27-inch monitor that I use as the primary display, and then in the background I'm running a 40-inch old TCL Roku TV, and I've had that up and running. I've got my 2 Bamboo Lab X1 carbons. The one on the left is set up to run with 4 AMSs, so I can run up to 16 colors, whereas the Bamboo on the right, I'm running 3 kilo spools through that one, just to work the production for, you know, the ukulele bases and the ukulele necks and the ukulele heads, because it's easier for me to just drop a 3 kilogram spool on there and just let these things go. And so I've got 5 of these that are ready to assemble, and we'll get into like building a ukulele in a future video. Okay, this is cool down enough for safe handling and touch. And so I'm literally going to line it up in here. And I might change the tip out. I've got some spare tips for it. But I want to leave that adjuster knob for the temperature up on the front so I can control the temperature as needed for those, or for future fittings. And so if you look at the grooving in here, I'm going to match the grooving up, drop that into its position, and clamp it down, and take those 2 M3x10s that we had. Might need to thread those through first. A little tight. I think I put my toolkit. Oh, I'm using it as a base. Let's see. So get these guys threaded through. And then we'll talk about, you know, how I have my garage set up in another video here in the near future as well. Because I mean, I like my setup. Is it the best setup in the world? Probably not. But does it work for me in my application? Absolutely it does. I wonder if I can take that. May have to remove that handle. Maybe I need to leave that in there so it compresses in there to pinch it. So I might need to go with M3x12s. M3x10 should do it. No. Did not want to bite. Let's see if I have some M3x12s. Yay, parts bag. So I'm going back to the parts bag. So I don't want to take too many things out of the kit over here because I know I'm going to need them for the build. I don't know if there's a bunch of extras that were included in there. It's an M3x16. These are like more M3x10s. Those are 10s. So I have an M3x12, there's another 16. That one might be promising. So that is an M3x14. This is a M3x10. Do I have any M3x12? We're just going to dump the bag again. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 14, 16, 10, 10, 10, 16. Well, fiddlesticks. Looks like I may not have any M3x12s. That's gotta be like a 16 or a 14. So that's a 16 also. So 16, 14, 16. That one's really long. It's gotta be like an 18. For science, 18. 10s. Man, no 12s. And maybe I will take 2 out of the kit and then I'll probably source some more later on. So M3x12. So this is M3x16. It says 46 pieces. And so, yeah, it's an M3x12. Their placement of their little kit is accurate, and I greatly appreciate that. It's like when I was doing my X-Carve 1000 build, it's like I had to use my my Gridfinity, and I used Gridfinity to kind of array everything to have it up so I could really categorize parts and keep track of where I was at with consumption of the parts that came with the kit. And so with the organizer that they included, the organizer is great. It's like I don't have to use my Gridfinity to kind of go through and figure all the little minutia details of what is what, where is where throughout the build. And so, I mean, I'll open these up later on and pull kind of everything out. Come on. Got my good old recapture mechanism here. And it's like a lot of these parts and components are all from like different things. It could be like furniture builds, or it could be from you name it, whatever. And I just kind of collect all the extra parts and components and then just keep them in junk bags or a junk bin or a junk box. I've got a couple of them with lots of stuff all over the place. All right, so we're gonna reattempt on getting this put together. Close my Enderwire conversion kit back up. But again, really happy with how they have that thing packaged and how it's arrayed. Got these guys in. Again, making sure that dial is kind of facing forward so I can adjust it as necessary. Line that up so I got the grooves in the grooves. And then compress it down. And hopefully get it to bite. On each side. Oh yeah, you get it to bite. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and take the unit, stand it back upright, and we'll loosen up our base screw, drop it down in so it's flush with the table. Do I necessarily need to work perfect alignment? No. Equalize tension on it. And so I'm just equalizing tension because I don't want cross-shearing tension on it because that could cause like the heat sets to fail. I just really needed to kind of hold it in place. So there, now we have a functioning heat sink or a heat set press. And so I'm going to lock down that back nut. And so now we're going to go ahead and start looking at getting into the actual Enderwire build. But first, before I can actually start building the Enderwire or the Voron Switchwire, I'm going to have to take my Ender 3 Pros and work a complete disassembly on that. And so I'm probably going to save that for another video for another night. It was a pretty long day with the family and everything for me. And so there's a couple other things that I could check in with this, which is just making sure that it's square, making sure that that's square. With the press, but you know, it's a lot better than trying, maybe change the nozzle tip out too, than trying to go through and manually set it down and hold it in place and hold it, whereas I can actually put holding attachments in here, drop the part in, press, move, press, move, press, move. And so, you know, is it necessary? Absolutely not, but I think it's going to make the build process quite a bit easier in the long run. And so yeah, quick down and dirty video of taking a Dremel 3 or a Dremel Workstation, this is the Model 220 with a pressing feature, and then converting it over to a heat set press. And so again, see if I can find the model number of the unit. So if I find the actual manufacturer of it. English, Dutch, French, Italian, Espanol, Chinese, I don't see made in China, as is everything. I don't know if there is a specific manufacturer that I see on here, but you know, it's just that little guy right there is the one that I'm running. I'm not running any one of those fancy ones. It's just a soldering iron kit, and I'm excited to use it. Yeah, and for now, I mean, it's Nick's late night, the late night garage with Nick, and signing off, and we'll catch you guys next time.